man. Welcome to the King's Court, man. Listen, check it out. This week is all about habits. And let me tell you something. Everything that you have in life and everything that you don't have in life, Rob, comes from your habits. All right? Every single thing that you have and every single thing that you don't have comes from your habits. 40 to 45% of the decisions that we make daily, they stem from our habits. But 90 to 95% of everything we feel, think, do, and achieve, they all are a result of learned habits. So there are certain things that we really, really want in life, but we're not looking at our habits. And today what we're going to do is get down, get a real good glimpse at what habits are. That's what we're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about how they're formed, and then we're going to talk about how to break them. So there's three things we're going to cover on this call today. One is what habits are. Two, how they're formed. And three, how to break them. All right, so really quick, what I wanted to touch on first is we're all one or two habits away from a total transformation of everything that we want in our life. We're like one or two habits away from that, period. If we can change one or two things in our life, it will give us the stuff that we're looking for. Now, me personally, I've changed a lot of different areas in my life. Everybody check out the screen for me real quick if you can. Screenshot that joint. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals a transformation. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals transformation. A lot of things that we've all achieved in life, they've happened over time. If you think about it, we've made some consistent choices over and over and over again until we started to see progress. And when we seen progress, we started to change the way we felt about what we were doing, and we kept doing it. Small, smart choices plus consistency over time equals transformation. So a million areas in my life, and I don't know where I want to start at. We pick one, the shit has changed. My body. We can start with my body. I started to make small, smart choices. Notice they got the word smart in there. Smart choices. Like your life is the tale of two choices. One is going to be easy and one is going to be not easy. And most of the times, the smart choice is the not easy choice. I mean, Rob Brown, did that make sense? Yeah, he said yeah. All right, the smart choice most of the times is not the easy choice. And that's kind of hard, when something with habits is tied to that, and it's a reward. You got a trigger, you got a response, which is, like your habit or your activity, and then you got a reward. And a lot of times, the reward that we're seeking, it overrides our intellect, so to speak. It overrides what we know. It overrides our information. And we're just going off of the way we want to feel in that time. But like I said before, once I had that C moment, I was able to, change, my body into the type of body that I wanted it to have. And I dropped 70 pounds in 6 months. Now that I've cultivated a habit to eat right most of the times, notice I say most of the times because I still go back to a different, I want a different reward every now and then, and I start to slip into the bad habit of yesterday. And when I do that, I might gain 5 or 10 pounds back really quick. Now that I've developed a habit to, for this to be my norm, I can kind of jump out of that after, 30 days or after, 25 days or 2 months sometimes or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. You get these bad habits going. Some of you have been rocking with them for a year and things like that, and it's all good. But today we got some stuff, man. So typically it takes 300 instances to develop a habit. And you guys hear me talk about this all the time when I talk about the audiobooks. Remember I said you need 300 hours of audio learning and you can get the equivalent of advanced level college degree. That 300 is just not a number that I pulled, out my ass or out the air. 300 is real. It takes 300 repetitions to to develop a new motor skill. So, when I'm teaching you how to squat, a lot of times I'm trying to get you to do things just so that you're doing something different, and then I move you into doing things right. So I don't want to give you too many things at one time, because when you give somebody more than one task to do at one time, the probability of them completing it drops 33%. So a lot of times I'm just trying to get you to interrupt the pattern, which is the habit, so that you can switch the norm to a new norm. And the moment you do it one time, you start to get a different feeling, and it's another trigger to where you do it again. And then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. So, like I said, 300 hours, 300 reps. Just want to throw this out there real quick. I know that we all were supposed to start listening to our audio and our education material last week. Did anybody do that? Can anybody chime in and say, Coach, I did that. I've been doing it all week. Anybody?
Yeah. I was on that as a man thinketh. I listened to it again. I've listened to it before, but I read through it and listened to it this week too.
Anybody else? Did anybody else do anything?
Yeah, I did some listening too, man. I did some more on my little trucking company that I'm starting up. So, gave me some more insight on pretty much some of the goals that I want to accomplish and moving forward. So some more ideas and different views, of what different perspectives and things like that. So it definitely helped out.
What time of the day were you listening to it, Chris?
About 5:30, 6 o'clock. I listened to it after I worked out. So every morning, I try to spend some time, at least an hour, of listening to audio, write down any notes I may have from listening.
Okay, so the information that I gave you last week was in the morning when you wake up, your brain is operating on 10.5 wave cycles per second. And giving you that information, I was telling you that is the time that it takes when your mind is able to produce spontaneous mental imagery, the frequency. And this is the best and fastest way and fastest time to program your subconscious mind. Everybody, real quick, we did goals a week or two ago, and we should have our goals, at the forefront of our mind. I want you to kind of take a mental look at your goals real quick, right? And I want you to think of some of the things that get in our way of achieving those goals. All right, and these are pretty much the habits that we need to look at and try to replace with other habits so that we can actually achieve our goals. So we do have some things that we're looking to achieve, and they're eluding us. They're eluding us because there's certain things that are in the way. There's certain behaviors that, are in the way, and we need to really take a look at that and identify that, because if we don't identify that, we can't identify what we need to replace. So is anybody willing to share with me what gets in their way of achieving their goal? Caps, do you have something that gets in your way of coming to the gym?
Man, I'm fucked up out here, man. Just to be real with y'all, man. Like, hey, you know what? But my whole life as a kid, honestly, I've always moved around. Like, I've never been stable with nothing as a kid. My upbringing, no father, just me and my mom's, and she was on drugs, so I moved everywhere. I changed schools maybe 3-4 times a year. And I never thought about it till now, but I spoke to a lady friend of mine, and she's like the psychiatrist thing, and she was like, I'm still displaying those behaviors from my youth, and it's real. Like it's really real, you know. So the main thing that I try to do that I'm conscious of is just be in my kids' life. Because like I said, I grew up without my father knowing them or nothing. So I try to make sure that I'm in their life, even though I did, you know, jump, had 3 kids, 3 different women, but I'm in their life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to learn how to, like y'all say, finish the goal, stay focused and finish what you started. So that's where I'm at right now.
All right, so is the habit now that you're going to be there so much for your kids that you're not there for yourself?
And so you know what? I came to work out today at 5:30, and it's like everybody sleep. Nothing's going on at 5:30 in the morning but AWOL. So it took me some years because I'm probably, you know, I've been around longer than a lot of people, but it's like if there's something else, like if I either go to the gym or do this, 9 times out of 10 I end up doing the other thing. So at 5:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, ain't nothing else to do but AWOL. Now it's just a matter of going to bed early, consistently.
So that's another habit that's in your way too? Going to bed early?
I got to make it a priority because I know 4:30, 5:30 come fast. So I got to, you know, you can't do, like you say, you can't do one thing without the other thing because they all coincide with each other in your life.
The habits are patterns that allow you to function in your work, in your routine, in your relationship, in your job, in your life, period. This is what they are. And a lot of us have developed or we just have a bunch of unaddressed bad habits. And they actually are dragging down our effort. Like they actually kind of just impede our progress because we got a bunch of stuff that's unaddressed. Like we won't even bring it to the light. We won't even say, you know, that this is a bad habit of ours. So one of the things, Caps, that you have to do is you have to change the story. All right? You hear what I said? Everything that you went through with Mom Dukes and your dad not being there, the shit is over.
Right.
You're 50. All right, nigga. You 50. Yo, look. Tomorrow is gone and everything in it is never coming back and you can't change it. You hear what I said?
Yeah.
So you wasn't there at the boys mentor program that I did at the school the other day, but there was something that they did last year and I liked it. And this year, it wasn't right. I ain't like it. And it might be cool to them, but it's not cool to me. So they got this part at the end where they asked the kids if you could have a conversation with your dad and you wanted to tell him one thing, what would it be? And I seen all this bitterness, all this hatred, all this resentment. I seen all this stuff bottled up in these kids, and it's because they don't really understand how things work. But it's because the people that are around them, it's because the environment, it's because of the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, and the associations that these things are in your subconscious mind till the time that you're 40. All right? They've been in there because of the stories that everybody's been feeding you. So what I'm here to do is change the narrative, and I'm going to change it right now. Everybody is the 4 agreements. Some of y'all out there have read Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. And one of those agreements is never take anything personal. Nothing others do and say is because of you. Everyone is living in their own world. Everyone is dealing with their own stuff. And sometimes our mothers and our fathers, they're not the men or women that they can be to be in our lives. So just imagine if God removed them from your life for a reason. That if that time in your life, they could have put some other stuff into your subconscious mind, into your physical life. They could have done some things to you that scarred you even worse. What if your father was in your life and he had a demon that he molested you? What if your father was in your life when he was on drugs and he left the drugs around and you start playing with the drugs? What if your father was a gangster and a robber and he had guns and you played with the guns and you wound up doing something with the gun? There's a lot of different things that happen that God may have removed them from your life at that time. See, what happened was, for me, my mom wasn't somewhere kicking my pops back in, talking about you act just like your father. She wasn't somewhere saying you look just like your daddy. And that stuff didn't resonate with me in my subconscious mind when it was time for me to be open to receive him at 27 years old. So my pop became my best friend when I went to prison at 27. And my pop is the one that gave me the book, As a Man Thinketh. My pop was the one who I called first with my 15 minutes every time I got a phone call. My pop was the only one I called when I only had one phone call. He was there when I needed him to be there. Now listen, it was because I was open to receive him at that time. It was because my mom wasn't somewhere talking bad stuff about him at that time. Now, I don't know your whole story. I don't know all that stuff. But what if the Creator, what if God, what if he removed them for a reason? Now, nobody on this call has to agree with me, but there are some vicious and malicious. There are some vicious, there are some malicious, there are some demonic spirits out there. Mental health is serious. And everybody is not in their right state, especially when you're dealing with drugs, alcohol, and listen, gangs and affiliations. People's minds are distorted. Their habits are distorted. And it only takes one bad act to mess somebody's life up. All I say is you're here now. And you're not in a bad place. You're in a great place. You're a provider, you're a protector. Look, you take your kid, you teach them, you're everywhere with them. So everything you went through made you the man that you are today. Some of these people on this call, they had their mother and their father. Some of these people on these calls had both of them, and they, like, you got to understand what's going on. Like, you became more of a man because he wasn't there. You had to. Some of us had to raise ourselves at 12 and 13, so we know how to deal with stuff now. Some of us were sheltered the whole time, so now when we come across one little problem, we think it's the end of the world. Some of us don't know how to look. We don't know how to treat a woman because we don't value the woman. So a lot of this stuff didn't happen to you; it happened for you. And as soon as you change the story, then you can change your strategy, the way you're going to approach it, and then you can change your state. When you change your state, you change your life. Like those of us who are writing notes down. Like we developed a habit to write our ABCs and to write full sentences and to do all this different stuff. We learned that through habit. And we're writing these notes down now because of conditioning that we learned over time. So it's a repeated, affirming behavior or experience. And it comes from an adopted belief. Like we continue to write because we believe that this is what we got to do to retain the information and this, that, and third. I'm just using anything, for example. But we got a belief, and that belief drives the behavior. Does that make any sense? So once you get the belief drives the behavior, and then the behavior done over and over again becomes an automatic response. And that's the stuff that we do automatically. But if we can go back and start to change the things that start to cultivate the kind of habits that we want by small, smart choices, and then just being consistent with them, right? Plus time, then we can have radical change or transformation. So everything starts with small choices. Like I actually have an 800 credit score right now. I actually, don't have a car note right now. I actually have, kept this 70 pounds, 80 pounds of weight off me for a long period of time. I actually have even these calls. They're going every week now, right? I'm making small, smart choices, but I gotta be consistent over time to see the growth. I have 14,000 people on my Instagram page. Now it's not 100,000, it's not 1 million, but to get from 0 to where I'm at right now, I've made small, smart choices. I've been consistent over time, and I produced results. The same thing has happened with my books. The same thing has happened with my notes. So I take notes every morning, and for 30 days or 90 days, I'll focus on like one thing. And I told you guys that last week. I said, hey, don't worry about reading 10 books. Don't worry about reading 5 books this month. I said, read one book and read it 100 times. I said, get the repetitions in so you can master that book. Don't go off a chapter until you can teach it. So let me show you how, that habit has cultivated, transformational radical change. So 2018, I used to drive to work and listen to affirmations, only affirmations for quite some time. And every day I would write down an affirmation or two that resonated with me. I wound up writing down 200, and I'll look at my notes and probably share them with you, but over 200 and something affirmations. And that's what I turned into the card deck, the deck that people that are purchasing now. But I made small, smart choices every single day as a habit. And this was only a 10-minute window. I lived at 2803 Quail Oak Drive, and it was a 10-minute drive from there to 320 East Washington Street, the AWOL Fitness. And every day during those 10 minutes, I would listen to affirmations and write down 2 or 3, maybe some days a couple more. And in those 90 days, I came up with a couple hundred affirmations that now I'm turning into something residual. Has everybody been seeing those cards that I've been posting and reposting from other people? So we sell those deck of cards for $20 a deck, right? It's 90 days of affirmations. And we expounded on the affirmations, put some graphics on them and things like that, and turned it into a product that I can continue to help change people's lives. All right, affirmations help change my life. But the habit, right, has produced a result for me that now it's part of my routine. So now I literally change all my notes into content, and my content produces residual income for me. So one of the best things you could do is continue to take notes. And then once you start to take notes, then you can move in a more conscious way in the way that you take notes. And then you can continue to change those notes into something that becomes teachable or, able to delegate. So whenever you document something, it's because eventually you want to delegate it. So I want you guys to take this documentation stuff serious. I want you to take your habits serious, because your habits can spawn a lot of great things, or they can spawn a lot of negative things that can really, really hinder you and pull you down, and lead to your demise. Does that make sense? All right, let's talk a little bit about how to break the habits.
Definitely.
Let's talk about how to break them. Anybody got any idea how you break a habit? Because a lot of times sheer willpower isn't going to cut it. And you guys always hear me say a phrase, skill power over willpower. Every day we not gonna have the will. I don't care how much I bark at you and say, you gotta have the will of a lion and blah, 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 blah. You're gonna have to develop skill power over willpower. And skills are developed through repetition. Repetition forms habit, okay? Repetition breeds confidence, all right? Habits, like I'm confident in my habits when it's time for me to do something because I have them on automatic, all right? When it's time for me to do a speech, all I need is 3 points because I developed this habit over time. When last year, I devoted the whole entire year to giving one speech every day. That means I had to be able to deliver a speech 5:30 a.m. to my class every single day for a year. 365 days for that whole entire year, I did a speech. I told you that it takes 300 instances to develop a habit. I became a master at what I do because I devoted time every single day to do something. I said I made small, smart choices, and I was consistent with it for an entire year, right? Over time, and it developed into radical change. So some of these things that you're trying to accomplish, they're not going to happen overnight. All right? And in order for us to break a habit, we're going to have to rethink our habits as tools that need to be used properly. Like, what if a habit was a gun? What if a habit was a gun? And you could protect yourself with the gun, or you could just go out and go shoot everybody up with the gun. What if your habit was a tool that now you thought about it, that I have to use this habit properly, or else it's going to harm me? What if you had that at the forefront of your mind? I want you to take a look at your habits, right? And ask yourself, is this habit working for me, or is it working for my demise? Because once we figure that out, then we can figure out if we're going to, because the triggers are always going to be the same. And the habits are always going to be there. We just got to replace them with something different. So I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all, right? And I was hustling, and I was a good hustler, right? And I was getting money, and I was good at it. And it made me feel a certain way to go out there and be the best cat that slang that stuff, to be the top dog. It made me feel like I was that guy, right? Yo, I just had to change the shit that I'm slinging. I need this to make sense to y'all. I got the same habit. I'm still slinging shit. I'm just slinging something different. So what I did was, the trigger is the same, right? You wake up in the morning, and the reward is the same. You want to feel good. But now we have to change the thing in the middle, the stuff that we do to get the reward that we're seeking. So now, today I got up and I want to feel good, but I don't feel like doing any work to feel good. So I'm just going to lay here and I'm going to sleep. Or I'm just going to lay here and I'm going to eat. Once I realize that I do this over and over and over again, it becomes involuntary. Now this is my new norm. This is my new routine. I need to break this habit by rethinking that, yo, what I'm doing right now, I'm not using this properly. And I still want to feel good. And I still got to get up. But what I do in between here, this response, right? This action is going to determine what I get from this reward or not. So now I feel good as hell because I've been on my diet crazy. Like I've been on my, really on my diet. I'm eating a half a cucumber out this motherfucker. Like I'm literally eating my meat and a half a cucumber. So the new diet I got to switch out the asparagus or the cucumber for myself. And I'm so asparagus out that I'm killing cucumbers now. And I ain't never really ate cucumbers like that. But the reward that I'm trying to get and that I'm seeking is, it makes me still put together these small, smart choices over time so that I can get radical change. And I'm used to my body transforming in, 2 weeks or a month or 21 days. So, I can do that now. But, you've all heard this. It takes 21 days to make a habit, 90 days to make a lifestyle, but it takes 300 repetitions or 300 instances to, really have something that you keep, for you, to make it a part of you. Somebody give me something. Somebody tell me about one of their habits. I don't care if it's good, bad, happy, sad. Just tell me about a good habit. I don't care.
So I'm gonna go back to the audio part of it. So one of my habits is when I wake up, uh, immediately, it's three things that I'm grateful for. I drink a little bit of water, and within 60 seconds, I get into my audio. Well, sometimes I gotta make a quick trip to the bathroom, right? But then the audio I listen to um, is by it's called HoloSync. It's a meditation audio. So instead of listening to somebody else immediately in the morning, getting their ideas, right? I want to listen to the God within. I want to listen to my mind. So I have an audio that about this company Centerpoint. It's called HoloSync to help. So that's the first thing that I'm listening to, right? It is myself, right? But that God self from inside, by going into the subconscious.
That's good stuff. We should all get into meditation. We should all get into meditation. We should make a habit of meditation because meditation is the most important part of prayer. All right, and I'm going to say that again. Meditation is the most important part of prayer because let's just say you're coming to somebody and you're asking them for advice. You're asking them for help. But all you do is talk. How are you ever going to hear the advice that they're giving? The answers that they're giving? So meditation is actually the most important part of prayer. You go wake up in the morning, you don't have to spend 1,000 minutes praying. You gotta spend a few minutes talking, and you gotta spend more time listening. All right. And once you calm the distraction, meditation teaches you how to calm the distractions, the outside noise, and get to the inner voice and the inner stuff, so you can actually hear the answers, so you can hear the vision, so you can hear all the things that you're looking to go out there that you're seeking. All right. Who else? Somebody else. Somebody else. Give me something. Give me one of your habits.
That nap.
That nap. Tell me about that nap, Mike. Coach Mike.
It's just habitual. I feel like I've justified it in my mind because I'm up at 2:45, and then I work till about 11, and then I come on home and take a nap and then go back. But most of the time I feel like I could be doing something else, and it's not like a super 3 hour, 4 hour nap or 2 hour nap. It's just maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and just to recharge. But I feel like if I push through, I might have some kind of other breakthrough, and then sometimes I may miss an opportunity by even leaving and going. So I don't know how healthy that would be for me, but I feel like I must recharge for the afternoon. So I've been telling myself that long.
Okay. Somebody tell Mike how many times it's going to take him for him to break that habit.
300 times.
300 times. Mike, you got a year of no naps. Can you handle it?
Hey, coach. Hey, coach.
Yeah.
This is Rob Brown. Can I make a suggestion about that? One of the things that, like Mike, you have a habit. And a lot of times we say, stop that habit or stop doing this or stop doing that. Well, instead of stop doing that, start doing something else, meaning replace that habit with another habit. So I'm going to suggest to you that you not stop taking a nap, but at the point in time where you normally take the nap, start doing something else. So we're going to focus on what you want versus what you don't want, right? So let's say, I don't know, basketball, box jumps, burpees, whatever it is.
No box jumps.
Whenever you normally take your nap, I want you to start doing something else. So because everything that we do, like Coach said, is basically driven by a habit. So let's start switching out habits, right? Instead of telling yourself, I want to stop taking my nap, well, tell yourself, I'm going to start whatever it is you're going to replace that nap time with.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So write this down. Habits never go away. You must replace them. You gotta switch out the habits. You gotta identify the bad habit, and then you gotta identify a replacement habit. So my question to everybody was, let's try to help Mike come up with a replacement habit. So my first thoughts on the whole situation is, you have a goal, but you don't have the right things in place for your goal. So one thing that I told Rob earlier was, you can't, pay attention, you can't be the person you used to be and the person you want to be at the same time. So if your goal is to,
Say that again, Coach.
you can't be the person that you used to be and the person that you want to be at the same time. So Mike is still operating off his schedule from when he first started. Fuck that shit, Mike. You don't have to come back to the gym at 5 o'clock to do 1 or 2. You don't. You need to be focusing on how you can move your brand and your business forward during that time. So you're still doing the same thing you did when I met you at the Rush. You had this schedule, you trained in the morning, you had off in the middle of the day, and then you trained in the evening. And that is our schedule when we start, because we're trying to make ends meet and all that different type of stuff. But if you put the systems you need to put in place in the beginning of the day, right, you'll be able to train all the people that you need in the beginning of the day. You'll put the systems you need to put in. If you need to have somebody pay them to do your class in the evening or whatever you need to do to come appease the 1 or 2 different people, and you really wouldn't have to fight with the nap or not. You could come home and do everything you need to do to work on your brand and on your business to move it forward, so you can actually get out of the place and the space that you're in today. But yes, like Rod Brown said, and it's on the paper here, your habits never go away. You have to replace them. You got to identify the bad habit, and then you got to replace it with a different habit. And that's why I told you, I still hustle. I still sling shit. I didn't stop slinging shit. I didn't stop hustling. I actually still sell dope. I got a new crack. You know what I'm saying? Cats is on Slim Fast now, not Stem Fast. I sell emotional dope. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm still slinging the same stuff. It's just a story that you're telling yourself. That's all it is. So I just want you to, and I don't know if that's my goal or if that's your goal. If that's really your goal, then you can't keep acting like the guy from 2000, when I meet you, 2012 or something, 13 or something like that. You can't still be that guy. You can't.
Yo, let me add this, and Mike, I'm speaking to myself on this as well, because naps is one of my things too. And what I do is I have some analyzation and introspection on, okay, when don't I take naps and when do I take naps, and understanding what gives me energy. So for me, I've identified, like, I'm an extrovert. I've known that, but as an extrovert, people give me energy. I draw energy being around people. An introvert, they get around people, they might have a good time, they might enjoy themselves, but they're drained. So if I have tasks throughout the day where it's very involved with engaging and interacting with people, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, and if I got a bunch of meetings, or if I have to talk with people, or if I'm doing a bunch of something sales related, and I'm just going with people all day, I can look up and it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I ain't taking a nap, and I'm good. But if I have a bunch of tasks that require me to be behind a computer screen, or that type of stuff, that's when it's tough for me. So I'm saying that for you to maybe look at, and this is what I'm in the process of doing as well, is what are the things that give you energy? Because naps don't give us any energy, right? Like, food gives us energy. Calories, right? That's energy. Naps don't give us energy. You are right on recharging. So we do have to be mindful, be smart, and take care of our body and recharge properly. But if you feel like it's not a recharge thing, then figure out like what's going to give you energy. If that means you need to get around people, so around that nap time, you feel like, okay, I know I need to go out, so I don't need to go back to the crib. I need to go work at a coffee shop, or maybe if you're more introverted, maybe that's a good time to put the meditation piece in, so you meditate during that time instead of taking a nap. But maybe replace it with just looking at yourself, having some introspection, and saying, what gives me energy?
That's good stuff right there, James. Yo, what if, I just want to take it a step further. All right, that's dope. But look, I'm the type of person that I'm trying to get you to take some personal responsibility here, right? And what if your goal changed and the actions had to change to meet them? And then once you change, look at the screen, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily, right? So what if that you changed everything to the point where you could go home and fucking go to sleep at 4 o'clock? You could be done for a day. What if you were done for a day at 4 o'clock? So all that other shit. What if you were done for a day at 4 o'clock? How would that make you feel?
Telling me that for a minute. Been telling me that for a minute, yo.
All right, so hear what I'm saying. How would that make you feel if you would have to cut your nap out. You go sleep for the rest of the night. You could do whatever you wanted from that time on right there. I bet your ass has some energy then. You drained because you're tired of doing the same shit for the last I don't know how many years. So just change the story. Mike, let me tell you something. You trained 2 people, dog. 2. You coming all the way back up there, 2 people. So tell me that them 2 people is paying the mortgage. Tell me. Because I know we can replace them 2 people with something else. Can you hear me?
They're not paying the mortgage.
Okay, they're not paying the mortgage. Now, what if at that time, look, instead of training them 2 people, you was writing out affirmations that turned into a deck of cards, that turned into a $20 product that you sold 1 or 2 of them a day for a month. We just replaced the session, but you only worked during that period of time. What if you actually finished your book? What if you finished your book during that time? What if you stayed home the whole second half of the day and you finished your book and then you put it out? And then all of a sudden you got speaking engagements from your book. And then all of a sudden you were doing all this different type of stuff, but you can't even finish the book because you chasing Miss Garcia and them for $20. Take a look at the joint and screenshot it. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. On the streets, right? They told us all money ain't good money. That's what they told us. So we couldn't chase everything, right?
True.
And look, you can't hit every hoe, right? Come on now, I'm talking to y'all guys. Look, cats had to drink water on that one. Come on, I know I'm talking to somebody. I just need you, I want you to be, I want you all to be honest with yourselves, because when you defend your habits, you get to keep them. I'm gonna say that again. When you defend your habits, you get to keep them. So I know you still, look, the nap ain't the bad habit. You know what the habit is? You going back to the gym, chasing them 2 and 3 clients.
Yeah.
Word. Ain't nothing, look, I speak to people all day long and I be tired. I be screaming and yelling, and people like Caps draining my energy when they come in there. They've been in my gym for 5 years and they ain't got no transformation yet. I see them and it just drains me, right? When I come home, I'm ready to rock out. And some days, look, that joint hit me. The one day I was talking to you about the nap, I came home and that joint just hit me. I went out. That joint went all the way out. My body gonna shut down sometimes. The nap ain't the problem. The problem is that you gotta go back. I ain't have to go back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, everybody, I want you to write this down real quick. My success is determined by my habits. I said my success is determined by my habits. I am aware of my habits and I constantly improve them. I said I am aware of my habits and I constantly improve them. So our homework for this week is to do a vice check, to actually look at our lives and see where our habits truly lie. So, like, small things are thwarting our efforts. They're stopping us from, doing the things that we, achieving the things that we want to achieve. So it says here, the chains of habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. And this is a heavy statement right here, y'all. So a lot of times we building this stuff, and we building this stuff, and then we look up and we like 60, 70 pounds heavier. Sometimes we look up and, we done racked up a whole bunch of debt. Sometimes we done look up and we're on the verge of getting fired and we done lost a client. Sometimes we look up and everything is about to fall apart. I want you guys to do a vice check this week, because you hear me say a lot of things like a cup of coffee for a cup of coffee a day for 20 years is the price of a Mercedes-Benz. And a lot of us would like to drive a Mercedes-Benz, but we got a small habit of drinking coffee every day. And I don't want nobody to give up their coffee if they don't think that they could actually get a Mercedes-Benz for saving it. But there's some people on this call that they invest money and they understand compound interest and the way it works. So it don't just work with money, it works with everything. It actually works with condiments on your food. All right? And I want y'all to take a look at the screen real quick, because the simple thing from switching from like mayo to mustard would save you 125 calories. Just imagine if you could take 125 calories out of your diet somewhere. And we just talk about small, smart choices plus consistency over time. So if you took 125 calories out of your diet for 2.5 years, literally, like, that's 940 days. So 940 days times 125 calories is going to be 117,500 calories, right? If you divide that by 1 pound, which is 3,500 calories, then you're going to come up with 33 pounds. A lot of us would really like to lose 33 pounds, but we're not willing to do a small thing like switch from mayo to mustard. And I'm just using that as an example. This could be saving, this could be paying yourself $125 a week. $125 a week for a few years, you could have enough money to move into your new house. All right, so real quick, is everybody kind of aware of what vices are? Like what your a vice is a bad habit. And what we want to do is identify these bad habits this week so we can come up with replacement habits, so we can come up with new game plans, new strategies, tactics, and processes, new responses to these habits, so that we can, of course, rethink these habits. So we can start asking ourselves, are they serving us? Are they doing us, are they taking us to where we're trying to go? Are we using these tools for our demise, for our destruction? Or are we using them for the greater good, the ultimate, goal? We realize that everything happens through conditioning, that when we do stuff over and over and over again, through repetition, that it's going to be something that becomes involuntary in our life after a while. And we want to be conscious of the things that we're doing over and over and over again, because after a while, we're going to look up and we're doing it. We've been doing it for 4 years. We've been doing it for 3 years. We've been doing it for 5 years. We've been doing it for 7 years. Well, however long it might be, 30 years for some of us. But the most important thing is knowing what they are. You understand what I'm saying? You really, really got to know, you really, really got to realize what habits are. And some of us, we're going through the motions and we ain't even realizing that, that's a habit. But once we realize and recognize the habit, we can identify it. Once we identify it, we can try to identify one that we need to replace it. And if we can do that, we might be able to get unstuck. I just want to open it up to talk to a couple people, man. Somebody shoot something over this way. We got a bunch of bad habits on here. I see a bunch of people on here, man. I got some bad habits.
Well, one of my bad habits, when I stopped smoking weed, I I replaced the habit. So what I replaced it with was smoking blacks, which ain't no fucking better. But in my head, that's the way I process getting off of weed. And now at this point, like I smoked the black earlier, but that's just off of stress. But I ain't smoked the black in a week. So I'm just working on, when I'm facing stress, handling it in a positive, or handling it in a manner in which it'll benefit me instead of be my demise.
Now, can you do like gum or something like that?
I can, yeah. That's my mom had recommended that, so I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of times. I've heard that before. 'Cause I know you don't smoke that often, so I know that you can replace that with something pretty easy. You just got to make small. What was the second word? Small. What kind of choices?
Conscious.
No.
Smart.
Smart choices.
Smart.
Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radical change and transformation. Small, smart choices. So remember, most of the times, the smart choice is the hard choice, right? We want small, smart choices. Somebody else give me a habit. Yo, I got a bad habit of, man, chips. I duff a whole bag of Sam size joints, right? I won't even come up for air. Nobody can even put their hand in the bag. My wife would be like, "You serious?" Like, yo, I'm a whole pizza to the face. Like, we gotta order. It's only 3 of us, right? We gotta order 2 pizzas because one of them mine. So, yo, I got a fat demon in me that I've been trying to kill him for forever.
You just gave me some confidence. I was scared to say mine because I didn't want to give it up.
Bro, I mean, I got bad habits. I got some bad habits.
Yo, I got a I got a mean sweet tooth. I'm talking dessert every night. I mean, I got the I'm waiting for it, you know what I'm saying? Before I even go to bed, the chocolate cake boy with some ice cream, warm that joke up a little bit. Like every night though, like it's just yeah, that's my thing, man.
So one of the things that I do when I'm like, no more chips, I can't have them in the environment. I have to make it hard for me to actually get the chips. So if I gotta drive to Walmart or Food Lion or Sam's to get the chips, then I won't have the chips. So when we're in the supermarket grocery shopping, I can't buy the chips during that time because I don't want it in the environment because it makes it easier for me to indulge in the chips. So one of the things that I do to actually not indulge is, keep them out of the environment, and they will not get into the grocery cart during that time. So I'm not sure how the sweets keep showing up in your bedroom at night.
Yeah, nah, same thing. And if it ever get to a point where I feel like, okay, I need to see it, am I a slave to this, or is it something like that I can cut off? So if I go through my abstinence periods, whatever, one of the things I also do is, and I think this is good with habits, is stop thinking of never doing it again, right? Like, yo, I gotta go 300 days without an apple. I can't ever smoke again. Whenever I get the urge, just say not this time. Just face with the whatever current temptation. So if I'm out to eat and and waitress come back and say, "Hey, would you like dessert?" Instead of me thinking, "Yo, I'm not eating sweets this month," or whatever time period it is. Instead of thinking that, just think, "Yo, just not this time," right? And just keep dealing with the current time that's in front of you. Yo, I ain't gonna do it this time. And those start to add up.
All right, so and put with that now, am I using this tool properly? Like, remember, your habit is a tool that got to be used properly. So now you got to ask yourself, am I using this tool properly? Because it's a habit. Am I using this tool properly? That makes sense?
Go a little deeper. Go a little deeper, specifically on the sweet tooth.
No, I said, am I using this tool like a hammer? If I had a hammer and I didn't use a hammer properly, somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Any tool out there, think about it and think about, if you don't use it properly, what's it going to yield? So that
results is probably injury and death.
Right, exactly. And that's what habits are. They're tools. Habits are tools. And they can, shape you. They're tools to shape you to where you're going. And sometimes you're not using them in the proper way to take you to where you're going. So if you keep that question in the forefront of your mind, am I using this tool properly to take me, where I'm going? Nobody said their cell phone. Nobody said social media. Nobody said, entertainment. Nobody said the game. I got some gamers on the line, right? I got some YouTube, Facebook, Instagram scrolling. Some of y'all, every time I get on there, the green dot is on there. Y'all, I see your name with the green dot on there. I know when you on the gram. It says active now. Y'all quiet now. So
Yeah, that's deep. I'm on the ground.
Yeah, because that's my biggest problem.
thank you, Jesus, Christmas. I really appreciate y'all for coming clean on that one right there. This week, what we're going to do is, this week, as part of our vice check, I want you to ask yourself, and maybe even document it, what my E versus E ratio is. My E versus E ratio is. And that's entertainment versus education. Yo, your E versus E ratio is your entertainment versus your education ratio. I want you to document how much time you're spending on entertainment and how much time you're spending on education. I want y'all to try to even out this E versus E ratio, and then after a while, I want the education part of the ratio to exceed the entertainment. So this week coming up, I want everybody to check their E versus E ratio, and let's bring that app time or that screen time back to the group, and let's just have some transparency here. Like, the only way we're gonna be able to move past where we are is to honestly, like, be transparent and be accountable. So that's what this is all about, man. You know what I mean? Iron sharpens iron. That makes sense? So next week we got a little bit of homework, y'all. I just want everybody to subscribe on the YouTube. This call will go back up on there if you want to get any more of that content later on down the line. You can replay the episode on YouTube. So I see y'all, some of y'all in the morning, 4:30. Some of y'all at 6:30. Some of y'all, we'll see y'all next week on the call.